Hey guys, Mr. Martin checking in with you from my basement to talk about persuasive poetry. So here is our lesson for the day. I'm going to go open up my presentation and share my screen. And once again, this is about persuasive poetry. And today I have selected 3 different types of poetry that we're going to study. We're going to take a look at each and every one of them. And then I'm going to ask you at the end for an evidence of learning. Just one from either these 3 or the Boy on the Bridge news report story from the Washington Post that I asked you to read yesterday. Okay, here's what I chose. I chose America the Beautiful, We Shall Overcome, and a poem called Our Generation. Why I chose them? Well, first, the first couple of materials that I spread out to you guys, the Columbia, Death by PowerPoint, the Boy on the Bridge, they were all related. They were persuasive. They were trying to persuade you to have empathy and a feeling of responsibility, either for creating a really knockdown, drag out, really good presentation, or responsibility for someone else's life, the people that we live with, right? You can't ruin someone else's life based on your decision. So that's what those materials were about. And I know that they were a little bit morose or sad. They dealt with death, and that's not fun. So these ones that I chose today deal with how influence or perspective, maybe it is sadness or maybe it's happiness, well, how those influences, those perspectives, persuaded artists to create something truly epic. First up, America the Beautiful. It's a poem by Catherine Lee Bates, music by Sam Ward. Okay, the song we know as America the Beautiful started as a poem, okay, by Catherine Lee Bates. In 1893, she was standing on the top of Pikes Peak here in Colorado, looking out over the sea-like expanse of fertile country spreading away so far under those ample skies, right? Those were her words, okay? And from that view, the opening lines of her hymn floated into her mind and onto the page. Now, the version of the poem that we know was published in 1904. It wasn't until 6 years later that someone combined Bates's words with a tune entitled Materna by Sam Ward, and that song became iconic. Words by Bates, sung by Sam Ward, and this masterpiece by Ray Charles.
Oh, beautiful, for heroes proved in liberating strife. Who more than self their country love and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine till all success be nobleness and every gain divine. When I was in school, we used to sing something like this. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties. Above the fruited plain, I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed his grace on thee. He crowned that good. Save it, brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America, I love you, America, because my God done shed his grace on thee. And you ought to love him for it, because he crowned that good. He told me he would. Save it, brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Lord, Lord, thank you, Jesus. Shining sea.
Once again, a masterpiece, man. And think about this. Bates, Ward, Ray Charles never met each other. And yet that's something that they were persuaded to create based on simply a view from the top of a mountain. Okay, next up was We Shall Overcome. Now, if you're not familiar with We Shall Overcome, it is a gospel song turned protest song during the civil rights movement. It touched many people just in its words, but it was touched by many people. The song was attributed lyrically from I'll Overcome Someday, a gospel hymn written by Charles Albert Tinley in 1900. Then in 1945, Lucille Simmons sang it during a cigar workers strike in Charleston, South Carolina. 2 years later, the song was published under the title We Will Overcome by the People's Song Bulletin, of which, of course, Pete Seeger was the director. In 1959, the song became the civil rights movement's unofficial anthem, and then later it was sung by over 50,000 in attendance at Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral. People sang this song when they were facing challenges, and the result is a triumph of human emotion. We get this from the choir at Morehouse College. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday.
We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday.
I don't know if you're like me, but that stuff gives me goosebumps, goose pimples, whatever you call them. Just beautiful. Once again, maybe persuasion's not about trying to get somebody to do something for you. Maybe it's trying to persuade someone to walk a mile in your shoes, right? Next up, last but not least, is a poem by Jordan Nichols called "Our Generation." He was 14 years old when he wrote this. That's what I thought why it would be relatable to you guys. It was supposed to be a joke for fun, creativity, right? But what makes this so special is, quote, that this 14-year-old managed to construct a deceptively simple poem that only reveals its true message after you've read it once and then a second time in reverse. I am not going to read it for you because I want you to get that experience from despair to hope. I admire Jordan's wisdom and positive outlook. I wonder how he was persuaded to create such a thought-provoking material. So what do you think? Okay, I need you guys to go look through these materials. I've given you everything on Google Classroom. You are going to comprise an evidence of learning for me. You're going to pick from my EOL bank 1 and 2, right? There's another video for that explains what those are all about. Essentially, you're just going to show me what you've learned from these materials. Now you can use the 3 poems that I showed you today, or you could use the Boy on the Bridge. So nothing will be for naught, right? Here's how you get a 3 or 4 on this. Include a minimum number of examples, and sometimes I'm gonna want you to put 3 quotes in your EOL. I need you to provide depth analysis, okay? Depth in analysis, not in-depth analysis, even though they're very related. Depth in analysis, and here's kind of what it looks like if you take the "We Shall Overcome" poem. And so look what I did. This is my example. This is a verse from that song. The truth shall make us free. The truth shall make us free. That's what the poem says, right? Here's what I say. The truth is relating to the American belief that all men, even women, are created equal, right? That's an American belief. That's what I say. And so I'm going to go a little bit further. Black people who lived and fought for freedom during the civil rights movement knew their cause was a just one, and that eventually they would win equality because their reasoning was based in truth, the truth that all men and women are created equal. Now, you're not going to do this document, the "It Says, I Say, and So." You are going to do one of the EOLs, but the "It Says, I Say, and So" was just an example of the depth in analysis that I want to extract from you in regards to these works. So you have 4 opportunities. You're just going to choose one of those. Either it was The Boy on the Bridge, news story, America the Beautiful. You could choose We Shall Overcome or My Generation. One of those 4. You're going to do one evidence of learning for me on one of those 4 and turn that in that assignment. Okay, remember, persuasion doesn't always just mean, hey, what can I get somebody to do for me? Maybe it's, I want to show my reader, my viewer, how I feel about a topic. Maybe it made me really, really, really sad or extremely happy. It doesn't matter. Sometimes whatever you want to give as in regards to like an emotion to your audience, whatever it is good enough, because that's the message you're trying to send. Okay, I need an evidence of learning from you based on the stuff that we've just talked about. Eventually down the road, I'm going to actually ask you guys to craft, to write, or to perform some type of persuasive message to an audience. Okay, I'm compiling right now a library of materials to help you do that. Hopefully you enjoyed today's lesson. All right, I can't wait to see you guys in the future. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll talk to you soon. How do I turn this thing off again? I think I got it.